because we truly believe, especially nowadays, we have the confirmation that AI can literally give to the small and very small business what we call the superpowers, because finally, through these very innovative technologies, they can compete with even bigger or even their biggest competitor, like big brands.
Welcome back to Core Conversations. My name is John Buchanan. I'm your host. And today we have a very special guest, Giovanni Farese, and he is from Italy originally. He's the CEO and founder of Webidoo, and they are helping small businesses integrate future forward tech into their overarching company organizations. And I'm going to let him explain what they do in more detail. But Giovanni, it's really a pleasure to have you on, man.
Yeah. Hello, John. Thanks, especially for hosting me. And yeah, let's go through all the discussions that you want to do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I would love to get the audience to know a little bit about you and your company. So if you don't mind, for the people that don't know about Webidoo, can you give us a little bit of a background on what you guys do and who you serve?
Yeah. So I founded this company 8 years ago, roughly, with other two co-founders, Daniel and Egidio. We started in Italy. It is a very complicated market, but is a very particular market as well, because the economy in Italy is pretty based on small and medium business. And 90% of our economy is based completely on this target. Can you imagine a very small business? So the idea in the beginning was like understand more how we can help using new technologies and innovation, these small and medium business to compete and just evolve their business in a digital era, because now the consumers are becoming more digital than ever, and even the small business has to match this level of request and demand. So the idea started on this point. We started to analyze what are the needs of this very small business, and we decided to develop our own technology products, all based on AI, because we truly believe, especially nowadays, we have the confirmation that AI can literally give to the small and very small business what we call the superpowers, because finally, through these very innovative technologies, they can compete with even bigger or even their biggest competitor, like big brands. The AI can literally give to the small and very small business what we call the superpowers, because finally, through these very innovative technologies, they can compete with even bigger or even their biggest competitor, like big brands, in a very smart way. Because what we love is that the small and very small business that we call also superheroes, they are very smart. They are very smart, and they are also very agile because they are small and they can just adapt themselves very fast.
Can you explain what they're using the tools for? I know it's kind of like in the marketing and sales, but there's a lot more to it. Can you walk through like the use?
Considering that our priority just firstly identified the needs of this market. Unfortunately, now we are serving thousands and thousands of these small business everywhere, because we have a very good coverage in the EMEA area, so Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And then we started 1 year ago and opened the US market. So we have now hundreds of clients in the US as well. And talking with our clients, this is the activity that we love, we can understand more about their needs. Then we try to transform these needs in a product, and the concept is just make it simple. Because the concept is that you don't develop tools that clients like a medium company should use, like if you have an expert or if you have a technology manager that can manage them. How usually the 90% of the digital tools are designed to be used by an expert that know how to use it. In our case, we design tools that can be used from the pizza maker, from the coffee maker. So from the small business that probably 5 minutes before it was just working with the clients, and then they pick up the phone and say, okay, let me check what is happening to my business on the online perspective. So everything is very easy to use. We are obsessed about the user experience, and we try to simplify very complex things like advertising your business or manage your reviews or list your business on multiple platforms in just few steps. Our concept is if it requires more than 3 steps, it's not good for our clients. So the process is everything focused on simplify and integrate the AI in the process, because the AI can literally do anything in behalf of our clients. And this is very game changing now.
Yeah, AI has really come a long way and it is allowing us to automate workflows. So if you're running a small business and you need to reply to a bunch of reviews per se, right, it can go in and intelligently reply to any good or bad, right, with like a thank you or how can we make this better, right? And then, yeah, can you talk to that a little bit?
And even more because usually what we try to do is even leading the clients through what they should do because sometimes they don't know. I mean, everyone knows that having good reviews is so much important for their business because even everyone like me and you, we think in the same way. I mean, if we have to choose what is the coffee shop where we want to grab the coffee, the first thing that we do is open Google Maps or Apple Maps looking for the coffee shop nearby and just decide based on the number of reviews and the score that they have. So they know that is important, but they don't know how to increase them. So the tools that we develop is not just something that can manage your reviews, but also that teach you how you can improve them, how you can just manage, especially the bad reviews. So we analyzing, for example, if the 90% of the bad reviews of your coffee shops are related, I don't know, the flavor of the cappuccino with oat milk, we can just in automatic our tool can suggest the owner and say, oh, be careful because probably you have to change the milk that you're using or you have to change something in the process because there are so many clients that are just complaining about it. Or we help them to reply because there are some businesses that they receive maybe 10 or hundreds reviews every day or every week. It is very tough for them to reply to all of these reviews. So the tool can be activated in what we call it the autopilot. So you can just select these features and the autopilot manage everything automatically, like analyzing review, reply them, etc. So when you keep everything updated about your business, it's easy for the other customers to reach you out and understand what are you doing and why they should choose your business. So this is of course measured in results because what we can try to show even in our dashboard is how even just little improvements in your business, just changing some words, just adding a little bit more colors, even 2 pictures to your page on Google Maps, Apple Maps, Yelp, wherever, it can really increase the number of visitors and number of deals that you can close in your business. So it's a process. It's not just doing something, but it's a 360 process where we teach, we help, and we act in behalf of the client.
Interesting. Interesting. I love that. Can you walk us through? I know you mentioned that you have 2 patents on 2 different solutions that you guys have developed. Can you walk us through the 2 different ones and how they differ?
This was during the 2019 because with our R&D team we had the intuition to patent and register some patents about the backbone technology that we wanted to use for our products, and we had 2 intuition that is what we described in our patents, and one is about the orchestration itself because at that time the OpenAI, GPT, and all these tools didn't exist. But we had the intuition that because the machine learning was going so fast in terms of improvements and innovation, sooner or later, we will have, like today, multiple AI tools and AI technologies. And what is the difference? Why on Google Gemini, it could be better off Grok or OpenAI or cloud or so many DeepSeek. We can mention more than 20 different very good technologies. So of course, to compete, they specialize their models in some specific task or in some specific category of task. For example, Perplexity is much better than others for the research analysis and things like that. So the idea of the orchestration was just let's create a layer that can call this multiple model and complete the task like a process. Like I want to create a post on LinkedIn, but I want to use the best of each tool to complete this process. And what is the base of our patent? The second one is about how we can use the AI within the process. Because if the process is you want to run your marketing campaigns on Meta and you need to go through 12 steps because you have to identify targets, select, you have multiple steps, 12 up to 15. How we can use the AI to reduce this number of steps to 3, giving the clients just the 3 most important things that is better that he decides instead of the machine, instead of the technology. So this this was the two different patterns, and we applied them to three products that we developed. One is Juice, one is Grow, and one is Wealthy, literally for very small business, small and medium, and large enterprises.
Interesting. Well, that's a really good story. And I love it because I'm running a small business, and being able to tap in and utilize tools like this that make my life easier is really a nice feature to have. And so what inspired you to start this journey? What led you guys into what is now Webidoo? How did that start?
This is really a great question. No, I think that our origin as Italians, no, had a big impact on the vision and even how we execute this vision in the daily activities. No, because firstly, we grew up with the idea that even if you are small, if you are smart, and if you are like able to deliver a good service, a good product to your clients, you should survive. I mean, it's very bad when you think that the technology, especially the technology that could be afforded just from the large enterprise, can literally cancel the future of the small and very small business. I mean, I grew up in a family where my grandmother, she was a farmer, no, and she was the example of the small business, no, create your products, go to the market, sell your products, etc. And this really had a big impact on me, because I always say I want to create something that can survive and can help these companies to survive to the innovation, because the innovation should be something that help everyone, not only the people and the companies that can afford them. And this was the concept. Then fortunately, especially the AI helped us a lot, because now the access to the technology is so cheap, is so easy. You can develop tools, you can develop new features very fast. And this help also to keep your price pretty low. Consider that our tool like Juice start from an entry price of $9 per month. So it's nothing. It's the cost that everyone can afford. And is a small investment to get, in any case, good result, because with $9, you'll be visible on hundreds and thousands of platforms when usually the consumers are looking for your business.
Wonderful. I love it. Yeah, it takes it and it puts power into the hands of the everyday people, right? Into the people who are just trying to grow a business and scale their own operation. And wow, that's really cool. So I know that as you guys have grown, you moved to the US about a year ago. You're located in Chicago. Your partners are still in Europe, and they're focusing on that market. And so you guys are growing and expanding. Can you talk a little bit about the future vision of this company, as well as like the M&A side of things that you're participating in?
Yeah, so from the beginning, we had this vision to build something that it could be like global, no? Even because if you are close to the innovation, if you are close to the technology, it's absolutely no sense to think something about local. Now, speaking about the entrepreneur life in general, no, when you launch a business in Europe, everything is so much complicated than, for example, the US on all the aspects. Firstly, the capital raising, because of course you don't have the same plenty of investors and the same mentality in terms of venture capital of other funds that we can literally meet and find in the US. Secondly, the market is so complicated itself, because we are like Europe, but the reality is that we have the same currency, but each country has their own language, their own culture. Everything is very different, especially if you speak about small and very small business. So from the beginning, we say we have to define something that it could be global, because if we want to really have an impact in this world, just give a dent in the world, we should build something that it could be used by a restaurant in Japan, in Tokyo, or in Milan, in London, or in New York City. So everything was designed with this vision. Now we are still in the beginning of this process. No, we have a good international presence. We are not global yet, but the idea is just build something. We have like the full remote team, more than 150 people that are working remotely everywhere in the world. We have our product designed to be served in multiple countries. And we have this idea that to accelerate this mission, because for us it's literally like a battle, no? How we can help this small business, how we can support them everywhere in the world. We need some partners. And in our vision, the best partner in this process are the web agencies. Because the web agencies in the last 10 years they just built a very strong relationship with the small and medium business. Especially they help at the local business, usually in their city or in their states. Let's think in the US, no, the web agencies in Colorado, for example, of course, they serve more clients locally because they want to be close and they build this very good relationship with them. But they are a big limit because they don't have, they are web agencies, they are not tech companies, they don't have their own tools. Maybe they sell the third-party tools. So the idea is just partnership with these web agencies and working together to make this revolution and to help this very small business to have a very successful future. And following this vision, we also decided to run an NA plan where we can also identify some of these agencies that are partnering with us and deciding to acquiring them to accelerate the integration process of their customer base in the Webidoo customer base and offering as fast as possible to their clients the value and the benefits of our digital tools.
Nice. That's beautiful. So not only are you growing organically, but there's an acquisition project underway to acquire businesses that are in line with yours from getting customers right away in local markets. And I think it's a great strategy. I think you guys are doing something really unique. And I love that you're helping small businesses tap into the power of new tech in an affordable way. It makes it a really nice story that people can resonate with, especially small business owners. So what do you see coming down the pipe in the next year or two for your company? How do you see the short future, 1 to 2 years out?
So two things. The first one is we are implementing new features in our tools because Juice is designed to be the marketing tool for the small and medium business, especially small. And the idea is just adding new features because Juiceness is very good to list your company on multiple platforms, manage your reviews, run your social media. You can just create with AI the post for your social media completely, copy, image, tag, strategy, scheduling, everything in one click and in multiple platforms, more than 10 social media. And then you have a chatbot and a marketing chatbot in Juice when you can ask everything about the strategy, about the decision that you have to take in your business, etc. But the future of the next 2 years is just add multiple features to Juice in order to make Juice like the all-in-one marketing tool for your business. And we are always talking with our clients to identify what are the next features that they need. It could be a social media advertising features. It could be like the influencer marketing. It could be also a messaging feature because they also need to centralize all the messages that the customers leave text on multiple platforms like your social media, your Google Maps, etc. Sometimes they miss these messages. So the first priority is just go deeper with our actual products and implement new features. The same for Grow, because Grow is an AI agents collaboration platform. It's a very powerful tool because you can create process completely managed by AI, by agents instead of human, not designing them like typically happen in tools like make.com or N8N, etc. Tool like this. No, you can literally chat with Grow and say, I need this. I need that every time that I receive an email, you open a task. Or I need that every day at 7 p.m. I receive a digest of my emails underlining what are the most important. Or every time that John asks me for an appointment, let's check the calendar and talk with him to understand what is the best tool. All these processes that are the daily activities of so many teams in our clients could be created literally talking, chatting with our AI. This is the idea, this is the concept of Grow, and we want to increase the number of skills that Grow as agents can operate, like now can access to your mailbox, can access to your calendar, can access to your drive. Maybe we will integrate your CRM, your ERP to increase the number of activities where Grow can help you. And for WellP the same, adding new layer of this feature. This is the first priority in terms of the next 2 years. The second one is increasing the number of products in our portfolio. And this could be because we develop new products or because we acquire product companies that they already have and a very good product for a small and very small business, but probably they don't have the ability to scale because a very small business market is so complicated. So when you build your marketing and sales process, it's much better if you have multiple products, because when you when you have the trust of your clients, you can literally sell anything in terms of AI digital tools. You bought the marketing tool, but maybe you need a cybersecurity, maybe you need a accounting tool for your business. So we want to be the company as a Webidoo that can serve you on multiple tools like Juice, Grow, and whatever.
Interesting. Okay, I love that. I love the vision. And I think it's really all aligning to serve businesses from a holistic perspective, right? You're giving them a lot of solutions. And then as you grow and acquire different pieces along the way, right, you can offer more solutions that help them do everyday tasks in an efficient manner. And I think it's a really cool story. I really appreciate you sharing all that.
Thanks.
So one thing I always like to ask is if you were to give any advice to up and coming entrepreneurs or people that are doing where you were a few years ago, what would be the advice that you give to people trying to do what you're doing?
There are plenty of advice. I mean, this is one of the best things for me, just helping other entrepreneurs, especially that they are in a stage entrepreneur journey or startup journey. There are literally plenty. Let's talk about probably what AI and innovation can really do today for this kind of new entrepreneurs. Firstly, I believe that we are just starting a new era of entrepreneurs that are more based on solo entrepreneurs, because today is very, very easy build up your team with agents, for example, instead of people. We are just experimenting that we have lower barriers in terms of how you can launch a new business. And this is very good because the innovation pass through the even number of failures or number of opportunities or number of new projects that you are trying. Having low barriers, like with small money, with small team, you can try and launch something on the market, is very good in this specific era of our history. So I believe that all the people that has a good idea, even as a side job, they should start to experiment like tools like, I don't know, Lovable, just to give an example, or Perplexity, can really help them to starting from an idea and eliminate so many potential risks of this idea, and even start to build their MVP very easily with a Lovable team or whatever. No, let's think that 2 years ago there was a completely different scenario. You needed money, at least a small amount, but you needed money. You needed at least some skills, technical skills. It depends on what is your business idea. But you can do the same things like alone with yourself. Now you can do it. So this is a very interesting moment for the startuppers and entrepreneurs, because they can literally test even multiple models, multiple ideas, and then decide where they want to invest their time and their money. Even when they will go and fundraise money, it will be easier because they already have something to show in terms of results. The second thing is I always suggest people following their passions, because the entrepreneur life is a very complicated life. You know now, because you launched your own business, and it's a very, very, very complicated life. So if you're following something that make you happy, that give you even some good vibes every day, because you had 90% of your time is fixing problems. So, but if you're fixing problems for something that you like or maybe you love, is much better than just working an idea just because you think that you can get money from that project. So following the passion, I think, is the most important thing, because every day that you are your down moment, because every day you have your down moment, no, you can just focalize your mindset and say, okay, but I'm building something that I love. I'm building the business that I want to do for the rest of my life. Then when the exit or something else happen, it will be a good things in your life. But in any case, it should not be your primary focus. Otherwise, you do everything only for money. And the money motivation is a very low motivation, especially when you have a lot of. So passion, first of all, and learning and introduce AI technologies to facilitate your trialing and testing about your new project.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. And it makes so much sense because if you just chase dollars, burnout and that motivation can fade quickly. But if you're really passionate about what you're doing, that drives the fuel. And then if you leverage the available tech now, it can really be an easy barrier to entry, and it's going to take some work, but and some time, right? But
Yeah.
it's possible, especially in today's world. So
Yeah.
thank you for that advice. Thank you so much for your time. If somebody wants to get in touch with you and would be interested in learning more about your platform, what's the best way to reach out or investigate your company?
Yeah, for our products, webidoo.com, the website is the umbrella over our products, the current one, but even the new one that we are going to launch. And on LinkedIn is the first channel where they can find me, just Giovanni Farese, like name and surname. Yeah, I usually use LinkedIn also to update my community about what is happening in the AI world. And there is any day new news. But yeah, it's the channel that I prefer even to keep in touch with other entrepreneurs or people that want to talk about innovation.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Giovanni, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for sharing about your story and your company. And I wish you the best of luck in the growth, and hopefully we can continue to have another one of these conversations down the road to see where we are.
Yeah, it was a great pleasure. Thanks again for hosting me. And yeah, speak soon for the upcoming discussions.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.